like me, you like a good cup of coffee, but you don't want to pay a lot of money. Well, I have the solution for you. It's called the Redneck Hipster coffee roasting method. I'm going to show you how to do that here. You can roast coffee at home with only a few simple things. Stainless steel dog bowl, preferably unused, heat gun, and green coffee. Now you can get your green coffee from lots of different places. You can get it from Amazon. This particular green coffee is from a place called happymug.com or even Sweet Maria's. I'm going to show you here in just a few minutes how, without much money, you can have fresh roasted coffee at home. All right, let's get set up. So I got my heat gun plugged in here, and this is just a Chicago Electric Power Tools from Harbor Freight. It costs 20 bucks. It's got an adjustable heat setting, and I like to put mine up to the absolute highest heat setting, and it says on here 1,160 degrees. It doesn't get that hot, but I put it all the way up. And then a stainless steel bowl. It's going to get a little bit hot, so I have it here on a metal table. You could use wood or whatever. And I'm doing this outside because there will be a little bit of smoke, but I wouldn't do it inside. But you could certainly do this in your garage. And then I have a wooden spoon. I don't always use it. The heat gun can stir it fairly well on its own, but I do like to every once in a while manually stir. And then again, this coffee, we're going to roast up some Sumatra. I'm not going to use this whole thing. We're going to pour in just a little bit. And then before you get started, you're going to need some sort of tray. This is what I'm going to pour it out on so the coffee cools when it's done. But you could certainly use a baking dish or a baking pan, cookie sheet, anything like that. Some people use a metal colander. You just want something that you can spread it out so that it cools off pretty quickly. If the coffee stays too hot for too long, you'll get a baked taste, and you don't want that. So something like this is helpful to have to cool the coffee off afterwards. Okay, so let's pour some in here. And I'm going to eyeball it. And that's probably a little more than I wanted, but I don't know if you can see that fairly well. But that's probably a pound of coffee. And one of the advantages of this method versus buying a coffee roasting machine is I can do this amount in one go. A lot of the machines that are for home use, you can only do about 8 ounces at a time, 10 ounces, and they cost hundreds of dollars. You can get set up here for less than 40 bucks to roast your own coffee at home. Coffee like this is high quality single origin estate coffee. This is about $6 a pound, and that's pretty nice coffee. This same coffee, if you were to buy it from a roaster, would probably run you anywhere between $12 and $15 a pound. So you're saving quite a bit of money. All right, so I got the coffee in the pan. We're gonna start, and it's gonna take about 8 to 10 minutes to get it to where we want it to go. For this particular coffee, we're gonna go a little bit darker. We're gonna go what they call full city. Sumatra tends to do a little bit better. It'll be just into the second crack. There's a first crack and a second crack. And there's different levels for where you do coffee. I'll put a little image on the screen so you can see the different coffee roasting levels and where you wanna go. But we're gonna go to about beginning of second crack for this coffee. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Coffee's in the bowl. I got my heat gun here plugged in, and I'm gonna manually, it's gonna be loud in a second, but I'm gonna manually just stir it. Every once in a while, one of these beans might get stuck in here, and it'll create a little bit of smoke, and that's okay. That bean we'll toss out, or it'll just burn into a piece of ash. It's not a big deal. If you really don't like that, you can certainly just have it out, but I actually get that in there, so we get the roast time between 8 and 10 minutes. All right, let's get started. So the heat gun, gonna turn it on. All the way up to high, full. For about the first 2 minutes, the coffee is just going to be drying out a little more. You won't see a lot of changes. Okay, now we can see the coffee's really taking on some color, and it's starting to get into that roasting phase. There's quite a bit of chaff flying off. That's normal. Sometimes that chaff will light on fire. It's not going to bother anything one bit. Darker than I wanted to go, but that is going to be great. We're going to dump it on our pan now. All right, so there we have it. We got our coffee roasted, and this looks a little darker than I wanted, but that's okay. It's a Sumatra. It tends to be a pretty good dark roast. Some of the oil is showing on these beans, so a few of them got a little bit past where I wanted. If we were roasting, like I said, a Costa Rican or a Nicaraguan or Ethiopian, we would have stopped much sooner to preserve a little more of the coffee flavor rather than the roast flavor, get more of those fruits. But there you have it. We went from this, and in about 10 minutes, we went to this. And we're gonna let this cool completely. And before we brew it, we're gonna make sure we let it sit for at least 1 to 3 days. The coffee will degas, there'll be carbon dioxide being released. And if we were to taste it now, it wouldn't taste very good. It would taste really flat. So you need to give it at least 1, 2, or 3 days to kind of degas and oxidize a little bit, and then it'll be great coffee at home, premium coffee at a budget. That is the Hipster Redneck Coffee Roasting Method. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you around. Special shout out to my cameraman Allison. Thank you for filming, and go drink some coffee.